This is a critical question that many Muslims grapple with in the contemporary world. The ideal response, deeply rooted in the Quran, Hadith, and the Sunnah, example of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, is one of wisdom, principle, and proactive excellence, rather of reactive anger. Here is a breakdown of the ideal response based on Islamic teachings. A. Foundational principles from the Quran and Sunnah. The primary sources of Islam provide a clear framework for dealing with opposition, slander, and propaganda. Respond with what is best, Quranic mandate, and not equal of the good deed and the bad. Repel evil by that deed which is better, and thereupon the one whom between you and him is enmity will become as though he was a devoted friend. Quran 41:34. Invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and good instruction, and argue with them in a way that is best. Quran 16:125. Guidance. The initial, instinctive reaction of anger is natural, but the Islamic mandate is to transcend it. The response should be better, more dignified, more factual, and more principled than the provocation. The prophetic example of patience and dignity. The Prophet, PBUH, faced far worse in Mecca. He was mocked, called a liar, sorcerer, and poet, and had trash thrown on him. His response was profound patience, sabr. In Taif, he was stoned until his shoes were filled with blood. When the angel of the mountains offered to crush the city, the Prophet, PBUH, declined, saying, "Rather, I hope that Allah will bring from their descendants people who will worship Allah alone without associating anything with Him." Sahih al-Bukhari. Guidance. This teaches that the goal is not vengeance or destruction of the opponent, but their guidance and the preservation of one's own moral high ground. Do not insult their objects of worship, and do not insult those they invoke other than Allah, lest they insult Allah in enmity without knowledge. Quran 6:108. Guidance. This is a profound strategic command. It prevents a cycle of mutual hatred and slander. Responding to Islamophobia by mocking other religions or figures only deepens the animosity and is explicitly forbidden. Be a multi-tiered, practical strategy for Muslims. Based on these principles, the ideal response can be broken down into several key actions. 1. Internal response. Strengthen your heart and faith. Increase in patience, sabr. Understand that tests and slander are part of a believer's journey. Let it strengthen your resolve rather than break your spirit. Do not be consumed by anger. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "The strong is not the one who overcomes the people by his strength, but the strong is the one who controls himself while in anger." Sahih al-Bukhari. Channel anger into productive action. Make dua. Pray for guidance for those who spread hate, for the strength to respond correctly, and for the protection of Muslims from harm. 2. Intellectual and educational response. The power of truth. Do not amplify the propaganda. Avoid giving the movie free publicity by constantly sharing its clips and trailers in outrage. This only serves their purpose of spreading the message. Focus on positive narrative building. Use your energy and resources to create and share positive, accurate content about Islam. Share stories of Muslim contributions to society, interfaith harmony projects, and the true teachings of Islam on peace, justice, and women's rights. Support Muslim filmmakers, writers, and artists who are creating authentic narratives. Engage in constructive dialogue. If an opportunity arises with a genuine seeker of truth, engage with wisdom and beautiful preaching, dua. Correct misconceptions calmly with facts about the specific issues being misrepresented, e.g., the reality of religious demographics in Kerala or the complex history of Kashmir. 3. Social and legal response. Prudent and effective action. Build alliances. The Prophet, PBUH, established the Covenant of Medina, creating a social contract between Muslims, Jews, and others. Build bridges with other faith communities, civil society groups, and human rights organizations. When they see you as peaceful neighbors and colleagues, they will be your first line of defense against propaganda. Use legal avenues wisely. In democracies, it is permissible to use legal channels. If the film contains provable lies and incitement to violence, legal petitions can be filed for fact-checking or against incitement. However, avoid demands for outright bans on free speech, as this often backfires, painting Muslims as intolerant. The focus should be on challenging falsehood, not the right to speak. Boycott as a tool. A peaceful, organized economic boycott of the producers and financiers of such propaganda is a legitimate and powerful non-violent tool in Islamic tradition, derived from the boycott of the Prophet's clan in Mecca. 4. Personal and communal response. Be a living refutation. Exemplify the best character, akhlaq. The most powerful dawah is your own conduct. The Quran says, "You are the best nation produced, as an example, for mankind. You enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong." 3:110. Let people see through your honesty, kindness, hard work, and integrity that the stereotypes are false. Strengthen the community. Use this as an opportunity to increase unity, ukhuwah, within the Muslim community. Support each other emotionally and spiritually. What to avoid? Violence and vandalism. This is absolutely forbidden, haram, as it plays directly into the hands of the propagandists, who want to portray Muslims as violent. It also harms innocent people and is a major sin. Cursing and hate speech. Responding in kind with hateful language is against the Quranic command to repel with what is better. A victimhood mentality. While acknowledging the injustice, do not let it define you. Islam teaches a mentality of empowerment, resilience, and proactive problem-solving. Conclusion: the higher ground strategy. You go low, we go high. The ideal Islamic response to Islamophobic propaganda is not a knee-jerk reaction, but a strategic, principle-based approach that mirrors the patience and wisdom of the prophets. It involves, internally, cultivating patience and faith. Intellectually, countering falsehood with truth and positive narrative building. Socially, building alliances and using legitimate democratic tools. Personally, being a walking, talking refutation of the stereotypes through exemplary character. By adopting this approach, Muslims not only protect their own dignity and faith, but also, in accordance with the Quranic promise, have the best chance of eventually turning enmity into understanding, as the falsehood of the propaganda becomes evident to all people of conscience.